Today I'm going to show you how to add some background music and some intro and outro music to your audio project. First of all, when you start up, I always like to start with an empty project. So I'm going to choose that. And I like to start with an empty project because when you choose one of those other ones, it adds a lot of different tracks that you don't necessarily need. So what I'll start by doing is I'll start by adding a new track, and I'll do that by using the microphone, and this shows where the input that it's going to be, and I'm going to go ahead and click create, and I'm just going to call this, I'm going to rename this just to make it easier for me, and I'm going to call this voice. Now when I start recording, one of the things I'll want to do is I'll want to start about, actually before I do that, see where this is on the metronome? What I recommend doing is changing this to time, because then you can see in this area exactly how much time has passed. Another thing before we start recording is we want to turn off the metronome, because otherwise we're going to get a ticking sound in there. So I like to start my recording at around 5 seconds. So what I'll do is, and you'll see why I do this in just a minute, because we want to have that intro music. So I'm going to start at 5 seconds, and then I just hit the record button, and as you can see now, I am recording what I am talking about. And you can do this in one take or multiple takes. Anytime you want to, you can always just stop, and if you've messed up, you know how to cut a little bit of that out, but I can go ahead and continue to record, or if it's two voices, I can do that. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this now because I want to show you how to add in the music. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on the Apple Loops here, and what the Apple Loops does is it provides a bunch of different sounds and music for you to be able to use in your project. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to look for jingles, and you'll see that there are a lot of different sounds that come in here, and you can test some of these out. So and you can see which ones fit for you. If you wanna cut them down more, you can select these different types of music. But any of these you can just go ahead and look at or listen to. And then when you find one that you like, one that fits with what you're doing, you can go ahead and just add it to your project. So let's try it. Let's see Fashion Cards. Alright, this one's perfect for my project. So now that I've found the perfect music for my project, I'm just going to go ahead and drag it in here right to the very beginning. And now you'll see that it's added another track here, and if I play it, then it'll sound like this. And as you can see now, you've probably noticed that it's a little bit loud when my voice comes in, and that's okay. I'm going to fix that. One thing you can do is you can adjust the sound level here, but that's not really what I want to do. What I want it to do is I want it to fade out. So in order to get it to fade out, what I can do then is I can adjust the sound throughout that little clip. Now in order for me to adjust those levels, what I have to do is I have to have the track selected, and then I click here, and this allows me to adjust the volume. So this mid line here is where the volume is at, and you'll notice that if I move it up or down, that line moves. But what I can also do is I can click on it and I can make different points on this line. So what I would do is I would make one point somewhere before I start talking up here, and one point towards the end of the music. And then what I can do is I can just drag this one down, and so what that means is that the volume will be steady here and it will begin to decrease here until there is no volume on that clip. So let's go ahead and listen to it again. And as you can see now, I am recording what I am talking about. So now it fades out right before my voice begins, which is exactly the effect I wanted. And you can do the exact same thing at the end, and you just have it fade in instead of fade out. Something else you might want to do is you might want to have some music underneath as you're speaking. And if you're going to do this, you need to do this at a very, very quiet level. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and see what this one sounds like. Not really what I'm looking for. Oh, that's perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag this one in, and it's going to make a new track. And I'm going to go ahead and start it right about here as this one's fading out. And if it's not very long, one of the things that I can do is notice when I'm going to click on this track. Notice when I hover over this selection, different points. Oops, forgot to turn that off. Different points that I hover over change the cursor. So if I do this one with the little curved arrow, what I can do is I can have this loop over and over again, and it'll keep doing it multiple times. So now that I have it long enough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here so that I can adjust the volume. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this volume fade in as this volume is fading out. Actually, let me take that back. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the right volume so that it's very low and you can still hear my voice. So let's go ahead and turn this all the way down. That's almost all the way down. Let's see how that sounds. Just start here. And as you can see now, I am recording what I am talking about. Okay, that's still a little bit too loud, even though it seems like it's very low. You really want it to be barely noticeable if you're going to have some music in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and lower it even more, and let's try it again. And as you can see now, I am recording what I am talking about. And you can do this in one. All right. Now, what I've done is I've set that volume to a very low level, and I have to really strain to hear it. But that's about the right level. And you'll see as you share this and put it on SoundCloud that that very, very low level is just right. If you want to see how to put it on SoundCloud, make sure you watch the next video.